Assalamu alaikum and good morning everyone. Hello again in one of our new lessons that concern sentence errors and more particularly the errors about modifiers. Now after seeing the first type, which is misplaced modifiers, today we'll try to highlight another error, which is the dangling modifiers. Dangling means if you can say it is hanging loosely from the top. Clear? Moving, swinging, okay, loosely and hang from the top. Good. Now, what is a dangling modifier? Dangling. So here we mean a word or a phrase mainly. Okay, we take the form of a word or a phrase that has no word to modify. Clear? Especially the subject, which is modified in the sentence, right, is missing, is absent, is not mentioned. We have the modifier without the targeted element, without modifier. Clear? Or also it may take the form of a modifier that modifies the wrong word sometimes. Clear? Not the element it is supposed to modify. Clear? Now usually these dangling words or phrases and modifiers come at the beginning of a sentence. Clear? And they are usually also separated by a comma from the rest of the sentence. Clear? Of the sentence. And you know that normally in English what comes after the comma and after this dangling phrase should be the subject or the noun to be modified and referred to, right, by this word or modifying phrase. In case there is nothing, no word, right, no subject or another noun, here we have the case of dangling modifiers. Example. For the first example, we have example of word as dangling modifier. Number one, hungry, comma, the pizza was eaten eagerly. Hungry, comma, the pizza was eaten eagerly. So here we have this word, adjective, as modifier. Now normally you find after the comma, the noun it refers to, the subject. Clear? Because the pizza can't be hungry. Right. It's clear. So the structure in English sentence requires to mention directly after the comma the noun which is modified by hungry, the person. So as there is no subject here, alright, modified by this one, and we have another word, wrong word, pizza, here it is dangling modifier. Second example also, we have an example of dangling phrase. When 9 years old, comma, my mother enrolled in medical school. When 9 years old, comma, my mother. Normally, what comes after the comma should be modified by when 9 years old. But of course, it's impossible to enroll in a school at the age of 9 years old, medical school. So here we have the missing or the real subject is missing and we have the wrong word which is my mother. Clear? Third case also example, we have another phrase which is infinitive phrase to prove his results, comma, the experiment was done again. So here, after the comma, we have the experiment. But normally to prove his results, his means person, normally you find after the comma the person, the subject as person, modified by the phrase. But the experiment is something. So it is wrong word and the real modified subject is missing. Okay, so here we have the case also of another dangling modifier. Now how can we fix this type of errors? Dangling modifiers. Now it's not like the previous one, misplaced modifiers, when we just rearrange and we reorder the elements and place or put the modifier as close as possible to the item or the word. Clear? It modifies. Here it's something different. How? Usually we have one common rule. We must provide the missing subject in all these examples. Alright? Because it is what is needed and what is required, okay, to be modified by my phrases here and by my words. Clear? Now we have usually three ways of correcting this mistake with regard to the use of the subject. Number one, we can add the subject, right, of the main clause, right? Provide the missing subject in my sentence to make it correct and to avoid dangling modifier. For example, we correct the first mistake by adding subject, right, in the main clause, and I write hungry. We ate the pizza eagerly. We ate the pizza eagerly. So here I have added the subject right directly after the comma, and we is yes modified by hungry. Right. Good. Second way also, we can change the dangling phrase into a subordinate clause. Clear? Subordinate clause, and include in it the subject which was missing. I must name my subject and verb. Clear? And verb. We turn my phrase into a clause, subordinate clause, and we leave the other part, main clause, okay, as it is. For example, I can correct the second example in this way and write, when I was 9 years old, here it's clear. When I was 9 years old, my mother enrolled in medical school. So here, the first part is no longer a phrase, no longer, okay, modifying a phrase, dangling modifier, because it became now what? It became an adverbial, right, clause, right, verbial clause, and second part is the main clause, right, good. A third way also of correcting, we can use to correct our dangling modifiers is by combining the phrase and the clause together into one complete sentence. Clear? Into one complete sentence. And we can use it with a third example, and we write, for example, he proved his results by doing the experiment again. He proved his results by doing the experiment again. So here, as you see, I have joined the two parts, the phrase and the clause, rendering them one complete sentence. Right. But usually we said, as you see, in all these three ways, we should always provide a clear, right, subject at the right position, So thank you so much for your attention and attentiveness, and see you in our second part to see more cases about dangling modifiers. So waiting for it eagerly. Take care.